Hi, my name is David Benavides, and I'm an English coach here at Illinois English School in Ibarra, Ecuador. And we're doing a series for the students on different subjects and different topics that they like. And the last topic that we did was 4 human mentalities. The students really liked it a lot. But I had one particular student that asked me a really good question. He says, we know that wise is what we all want to be because we're going to make wise decisions in life. But how do we keep being wise? And how do we become wise is what he asked me. Which brings us to the next teaching. 7 steps to being wise. Okay? Now, steps are things that they need to do constantly to maintain that level of wisdom. Okay? The first step has to do with your ears. Okay? Human beings love to talk, love to express, but few really know how to listen. Okay? And listening is the art of communication for all people that are successful in life. Okay? So it would be listening. Now, there's a difference between listening and hearing. Anybody can hear, but listening is when a person is focused on the information that they're receiving audibly. Okay? So listening is an art. Okay? You listen to your teacher and you make sure that you know the next step. The next step is what? Understand. So you need to understand what you're listening to. Okay? Not just hearing, but listening. Understanding the information is a plus because it's going to make sense to you as your teacher is talking about certain subjects or topics. Okay? Which brings us to number 3 by logic would be asking. Now we should put all these in an ing because it's a constant thing. It's a continuous learning steps. Okay, so you keep listening, you keep understanding, you keep asking your teacher. If you listen and you understood a little bit, for example, you listened and you only understood maybe 30%. What are you going to do with the rest of the percent? Are you just going to sit there? A lot of people get prideful and they don't ask their teachers anything. You know, the person with wisdom is a person that raises his hand and asks. I always teach my students that, and it's very important. So asking is very important because it's gonna fill in the rest of the percentage that you need to know. Okay. Now takes us to step 4. What do you think step 4 after asking a person? What do you think would be the next step? By logic, the next step would be writing down. Writing down gives you 100% of whatever the teacher is teaching, okay? And then that way the student assures himself that later on he can look at that 100% and go over it, okay? Which takes us to really step number 5. Step number 5 is the one that most students have the difficulty because they're self-supervising themselves, okay? I am the supervisor, the parent is the supervisor. They're always saying, are you listening? Do you understand? Okay? They're always constantly telling you, but what happens when the student goes home and he doesn't have the parent and he doesn't have the teacher? They have to do the self-coaching. They have to do the self-motivation, okay? And that's where the writing comes in to help. But what is the next? Is studying. Which is one of the hardest steps for a student to do, but not impossible, okay? So studying is when they go over their notes of what they wrote down, and then they remember what they asked in class, and then they understand totally what was going on in their classroom in the subject, okay? And then listening would come all into play again, okay? Now, what's number 6? Number 6 is practicing. Practicing over and over and over. Every person that has been successful in sports, in academic, in any type of profession, any person that has been successful in anything as a person that has practiced. Michael Jordan is well known not for natural talent, but for practicing over and over his fadeaway shots. Okay? The person that practices makes perfect. That's the philosophy that I love to listen to. 7 would be teaching. To be a true master, at the end, I always have the student demonstrate all the different teachings that I show them. It could be from grammar or from any type of subject. They always have to do all these steps one by one like I did it. Okay, so let's go over it real quick. Listening, knowing the difference between listening and hearing. Understanding, okay, computing that and rationalizing it in their minds. And if they don't understand, then they go ahead and ask, okay, and then also they write down, okay. And after that, then they have the discipline to go back home and study everything that they learned in school and then practice it.